or, the whole concept of indexing, right? That's a whole different type of client that trades index products. All the inputs that go into the indices create sources of revenues for the exchange, because you need a lot more than one data feed to price in indices, right, to make sure you're pricing that correctly. So exchange, the ICE exchange, like trying to develop the corporate bond market, there's so many inputs that go in. They're hard to price. There's absolutely room to grow as the market gains confidence in the ability to price products on exchange or online. You have to consider, too, that a lot of these type of markets, like corporate bonds, like swap markets, those markets are very profitable to those that trade them because they're not visible. They're not transparent markets. Does that make sense? Like if you or I want to trade a swap,
yeah,
we can't. There's no visibility to that. We're flying blind in pricing. You can't look at a Bloomberg tape to price a swap. I mean, to some extent you can now, but you know what I'm saying. So as the exchange, so they're doing everything they can, and regulation is probably not moving as quickly as they would hope. There's a lot of obstacles to it, to forcing those type of products onto centralized exchanges, thereby if regulation forces trading onto regulated exchanges of those products, then the exchange is placed, is making bets then in developing those products or developing platforms for it. They will be in a good position. So it's largely dependent on how quickly regulation forces that and how the over-the-counter market responds. Like as a salesperson, you could walk into JP Morgan and be selling, trying to sell one desk on a new product offering of the exchange, and the desk across the aisle is giving you nasty looks because that's how they make their money, by the vague pricing. Customer has to call the bank, and the bank sets a rate, and it's not published, or it's not published until 15 minutes after the trade or end of day, et cetera. If regulation rolls over such that has to be like real-time pricing and reporting, et cetera, that will be a game changer. I should also mention that the biggest trading firms or asset managers, I should say, firms like that trade in blocks. So their trades or their moving money would be potentially so disruptive to the markets that they do it in off-exchange transactions that eventually hit the exchange, but there's a delay. So they're privately negotiated. Does that make sense? They're never, if BlackRock has to, has a complete shift of strategy, or PIMCO, they go off exchange, arrange it, and then it's published. So all those things, the exchange is making bets by developing these platforms for trading, such that if and when regulation does force these changes, they will have, solutions, or they'll have platforms there. So in the meantime, they're working on getting the little guys, I'm putting air quotes around the little guys, that don't have access to a swap market or don't have access to a corporate bond market, all the pricing information. They're giving them a way to access and start looking at it, and developing interest and